Hello everyone. How y'all doing today? Position, Dragonwolf. It is good to see you both. This dude, good to see you as well. Hope you all been keeping well. Chikista, Terralingua, everyone, hello. I'm excited for today. Right, because we're turning into first-person shooters in our deep dive of World War One, and that's going to be actually a really fun time. These games kinda rule, but all the games this week, while you wouldn't think there's a way to make a first-person shooter fun, they kind of are. I'll just be honest, they're kinda super fun. But, uh... oh boy. Take care of yourself, the VOD will always be here, Dragonwolf. Alright. Sounds like there's a good amount of lurking that's gonna happen, but that is totally okay. I appreciate you all being around. But, before we hop into the game, I do have a couple of other things I want to talk about. So, firstly, right, going on right now, and for the next several days, is going to be the Middle Ages in Modern Games Twitter conference. I'll be presenting in that later this week, Thursday morning, on Pentiment and Inclinati, and it is freaking great. Right, my friends are the ones who run it. I've known them for quite a long time. They do really good work. So if you're not yet in the Discord, we have a thread dedicated entirely to that conference, to be able to talk about it. So if you want to see, you know, more medieval-y stuff, less 20th century stuff, that's a good place to go. But I particularly want to highlight the... Let's see if I can find it. You know how it goes now. The keynote that was given earlier today by Ilva Grofstedt, because she highlights something called like a vague history, which I think is a really useful framework to start thinking about like World War One. Because she talks a lot about like medieval dynasty, the settlement builder game, as this sort of game that it draws on symbols of the past, but doesn't really attach itself to any particularly narrow historical setting within the idea of the medieval. And so thinks about this sort of really creative recombination. And that's, I think, really interesting to apply to other time periods. So, which brings us to the other announcement that, you know, the games industry mocks me. The games industry sees me, acknowledges my existence, and mocks me. Because literally today, a new World War One game dropped. I'm so mad that it is... Like, come on. Come on. Let me show you all. Ignore the game. Wow. Amnesia the Bunker. The spin-off short story anthology in the world of Amnesia the Dark Descent. Set in 1916, where you are a French soldier trapped in a bunker on the Western Front with a horrifying monster that is stalking you. Obviously, I'm not going to be playing this unless if, you know, you all make me. Because I do about not well with horror games. I do extremely badly with horror games, actually. So, I have no great desire to play it, but that being said, you know the drill. If you head over to Patreon and subscribe at the tier 3 subscription there, that $25 a month, I will in fact do it. You can make me. and I will honor that, so you know what to do. So, yeah. In the shoes of the French soldier Henri Clément, you are armed with a revolver, a dynamo flashlight, and other scarce supplies. And so you'll have to, figure out how to not die and escape. But it's set in World War One. This is actually this position. I don't know of another shooter World War One game or another horror World War One game, but I do know of a horror movie set in World War One. It's I believe called The Trenches, where basically there's a sentient mud monster in the trenches. And so it tells a horror story around that. And, it makes sense. It's not a genre I ever really keep on my radar, but it makes sense that given how much media portrays the war as something both sentient and malicious, and hungry, embodying that into a horror monster makes a hell of a lot of sense. Whether that's here in a bunker, or if it's, or a sentient mud monster that consumes people and drowns them in the trenches. That being said, right, I'd be really curious the extent to which this can actually be used to, better understand the history of World War One, right? Because there's a lot of just aesthetics going on. Right, there's a lot of the symbols of World War One, right? The uniform, the revolver, the dynamo flashlight, the idea that there is a concrete bunker. And how much is that grounded in other stuff, right? In other understandings of the conflict, and other understandings of the culture of the time, remains an open question, I think. So I'd be super curious. It's definitely going to capture the helplessness of the individual a lot better than a lot of other World War One games. I agree. I think that is a very, real and valid point. Right? That given how much it relies on, agency, right? The extent to which agency is kind of the core question of World War One video games. The extent to which horror games can take away that agency is a really interesting and important question. So yeah, there's that. So if you want to extend World War One deep dive with making me be a scaredy cat, you know what to do. But otherwise, I just want to acknowledge that as a genre that we should have kind of in the backs of our heads as we think about games, right? Flight sims, dogfight sims, and horror games as kind of the two main genres that we are not exploring here, but that I think do have a role to play in how we imagine World War One. But that's not what we're doing today. Today we are playing Verdun, which is going to be a first-person shooter look at it. And asking many of the same questions, dealing with many of the same concerns of agency, but doing that in a very different way. So, we're going to spend a couple hours hanging out, playing those games. So, I hope you are all excited. Of course, if you enjoy this, make sure you're followed here on Twitch for a wide variety of games. Right now we're focusing on World War One games. Right, this is week 3 of 4. So we're doing Verdun, Tannenberg, and Asanzo this week. And then next week we're going to have back-to-back guests. 1 week from today with Battlefield 1, we're going to have Stefan Quiroga joining us, which is going to be awesome. And then the very next day, we're going to have Dr. Chris Kempshall joining us as we play Valiant Hearts Coming Home to sort of wrap up our thoughts. They are both phenomenal scholars who do really interesting work on collective memory and on, the history of the First World War. So spread the word about those events or about their coming on the stream, because I've been looking forward to it to them joining me for a long time, and getting them both in the same week is absolutely phenomenal. Also, if you want to support this channel, either consider subscribing, sharing bits, or gifting subs here on Twitch, or heading over to Patreon, where for as little as $2 a month you can help make sure we keep being able to do this, keep being able to get the new and greatest games, and figure out more stuff going on. Yeah? So, there is a Castlevania World War I game that has basically nothing to do with it besides saying Elizabeth Bathory actually started the war. Castlevania, why? Also, isn't that one of the 3D Castlevanias? I feel like that's one of the 3D Castlevanias. And we know how 3D Castlevanias go. And they don't, for the record. Oh, it's for Sega Genesis? Wait, which one is it then? Wait, what? Because Rondo, it's... Sega Genesis means it has to be early. Oh, Bloodlines. Gotcha. Neat. Interesting. Still, not really something we're gonna play, but it's nice to have it in the known in the background. So, hello, Rat. Me when the blood is in a line. You may see some of that today, Lonely Space Borb. Unfortunately, there's going to be a lot of dying today. It's a shooter game, what do you expect? So yeah, why don't we hop into Verdun 1914 to 1918. Well, hello. Oh, by the way, I've been letting this play in the background because this is a thing I didn't really think of as in core part of how we remember World War I, but it super is, right? These propaganda songs are 100% part of how we imagine World War I. And we've heard them in every single game, right? In every single game we've played, as part of this deep dive, Admittedly, this is only the third one, but that's neither here nor there. All three of them have had these propaganda war songs. It's a long, long way to Tipperary, over there, etc. And again, this is another one of those cases where it's obviously, right, there's an enormous amount of effort to create records, right? To create wax cylinder records, phonographs, and then radio songs for soldiers to listen to, because that's one of the primary forms of entertainment. Especially if you can't get to a cinema to watch a silent film. So there's enormous amounts of cultural production around the war and around creating music for the soldiers, so it makes perfect sense, right, given that is one of their primary forms of entertainment, that is one of the things that gets preserved en masse and gets handed down as part of this is what the war is, right? If you need the war to feel authentic, this is how you do it. It always ends up being, juxtaposed, though the actual songs are not nearly as juxtaposed with the, moment-to-moment battlefield chaos as modern media tends to make them. We'll hear that in a bit. Given that a lot of them are about, boredom, fear, inevitability of death, etc. There's one quite famous story, thanks to John Green, right, of them altering the words. We're here because we're here, because we're here, because we're here, etc., etc. Right, that's actually a recording from 1916 by a private Dwyer, I believe, a British soldier, recorded while he was on home leave, talking about some of the songs that they would sing in the trenches. He'd actually die later that year. So, his story has been resurrected in the past decade, and his song has been resurrected in the past decade. So, you know, it's the song and the realities of, you know, the mass casualty event that is World War I are a bit less disjointed than I think media tends to portray them. Well, let me show you what I mean. We're gonna hop into a game. We're gonna hop into a game here. Just front lines. We're gonna see. I'm gonna see if I can join as. Okay, thank you. I'm gonna try and join as a rifleman. Because I've only been playing as a NCO, so I'm gonna play as a rifleman here and just see how this goes. Anyway, so we are in our car.
Welcome to the front.
Oh, we're not gonna hear it till the next match starts. Okay. The start of the match plays over there. Oh, there it is. Okay, and that's the extent of cheerful music we'll hear. Ow. Well, a strong beginning. Right. We got the one cheerful thing. And now we have to, you know, play. Skill issue? True. Got him. Nice, we got an Enfield rifle. So yeah, this game is actually incredibly fun. Like, I'm not even gonna lie. Heck. I have no ammo. I have no ammo. It's one of the very few shooters you've actively enjoyed playing. Yeah. No, this one's great. So we... Wait, that didn't hit? There we go. Oh! Lag. Is the crouch button disabled for British officers? No. No. Not even slightly. Oh yeah, by the way, our objective is to get capture points. So I suppose I should say how this actually works. Right, so... Right, we just have two states. We either crouch, or we're either prone, or we're standing up.
Let's go, man.
Ow. Ow. Mantrissa, hello. But yeah. So we are fighting over... We'll just alternate here. Right? There's a certain amount of time. Right now it's paused because we are in a status that's known as foothold. Oh, we traded. Rip. We are in a status known as foothold, so since the trench is contested, the time is not counting down. But, as this goes, we're going to... hello? We are going to swap between attacking and defending different parts of the line. So if we capture something, we have to hold it, which is extremely difficult to do. Ow. I saw 3 people there and I couldn't pick which one to do. And We might win this anyway,
Get your asses over there.
which would be awesome. I'd love that. Direct attack duration extended by getting momentum, or the foothold is eliminated. Attack duration can be extended if they take more than the indicated number of casualties, etc. Spawn indicator indicates when any spawn is selected. And we have a sector spawn available, which is kind of always open. Ow. 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 Well, to me it seems strange because it's so much futility and yet probably compressed time in terms of what is accomplished. Yeah. So this basically... Yes, yes. I understand that you're yelling. Ow. I need to remember that to hold my breath so I don't wiggle all over the place. These guns do wiggle. They do be wiggling. But yeah, right, so we are, you know, boiling down the offense. Ow. Take a shot every time I die? Don't do this. Fully do not do this. This is my literal first match playing Rifleman. I've been playing as an NCO while warming up today. So this is literally my first time. Oh, with that, there we go. Killed the bot. Let's go. Please don't. Ow. I got killed by soup. Found that crouching and sniping is a very good strategy. Yeah. It's a good strategy with a pistol. I can only imagine with a rifle. But anyway, we actually captured this front trench, so now we're actually defending it. So that's fun. Don't stop in the open. That sounds suspiciously reasonable. There we go. Now we're breaking... Hi, yes? Is there a reason you're just sitting there?
Hold the line. Hold the line.
Is there a reason these people are just sitting here? Like, good lord. Oh, they're literal bots. Let's back off. Let's get that new rack in. Not really winning any war. Hello?
Hold the line. Hold the line.
Okay. There's gonna be more coming in here, I think. Oh, boo. I disagree. Having mixed British and French uniforms trips you up every time. True. Oh, he got hit by artillery. So, as attack you start with your jump off trench as a defender in the no man's land directly behind the sector you're defending, etc, etc. As a rifleman, I don't have any abilities. I'm just gonna back off into this hole. But what I love about this is, right, even though there's something, you know, certainly heavily cinematic about it. Ow. That was what I call an artillery shell to the face. Right, there's something super cinematic about how this is going, and that we're condensing this down quite far. But at the same time, this is all immediately communicating something that, say, Great War Western Front abjectly failed to do. Right? There we go. Which is, this thing is something highly lethal, but also, right, you can protect yourself pretty well in these trenches. Ow. As long as you don't get your, leg blown off, but for the most part, you're actually able to protect yourself quite nicely as you're crossing no man's land. And part of the way you do that, right, is by spreading out, taking cover in blasted artillery holes, like this one right here, and that doesn't count. That was a bad example. Like this one right here, and most importantly, paying attention to your the orders of your NCO. Like you are in a group with an NCO. The NCO has extra abilities. Yep, I know. Damn it. I was hoping I could finish that reload safely, but you can't reload while laying down for some reason. Otherwise I would have just laid down. So then we just, our NCO has ordered us to try and take this position. So, theoretically, we actually know some people are heading that way, though. Given that there's currently an artillery strike called on that position, I don't know if I trust that. Alright, that person's down. We should be able to push up then. There we go. That's a friend. Still have 4 bullets, which should be plenty for this life. Nah, as I said, should be better than this. What's better than this? Just guys being dudes? Exactly. Alright, we push up into the trenches. Spawn up next to my NCO. Oh, hell. And then we lost the point. Right, we failed to capture the point. And so we have to fall back to our next defensive area. And once we're in the next defensive area... Oh, that was not even close. What was I aiming at there? Soup killed me. Just people living in the moment, having fun, not a phone in sight. Truly. Alright, so the actual push tends to pretty much just run within these first couple spaces. Right, so you get a couple minutes to attack and a couple minutes to defend. You're dead, right? Yeah. Cool. Oh yeah, I also have a bayonet, which I believe means if I run into people, I do get to, stab them. Oh, that wasn't a kill. Hell. You don't want to stand there.
Hold the line! Hold the line!
You die because you're on that damn radio all the time. True. Oh, that was a bot. That guy's dead. Come on, peek me. I need to reload, so I'm gonna hide here in this corner and do this. There's that guy down. Oh, that's my NCO down. Really, guy? Ah, yep, I whiffed. I whiffed the shot. Two guys in a ditch, 6 feet down because they just died. Oh. Something you really like about this game is how well it captures the organized chaos of the war. There's a clear direction in which things are happening. Ow. Killed by History Man 77, you know, that feels fair. But unlike in basically any other modern shooter, but at the same time, it's so easy to lose track of like what's happening, when, and where, and die in the confusion. True. This game also really likes its... There we go. Just gonna hide here in this corner. I need to reload, which means I need to back off, so that I'm fully out of sight, because I don't want that in my life. Ow. LOE killed me. But yeah, right? It really is. And on higher levels, I mean, there are clear goals, right? And you should try and stick next to your NCO. And you're encouraged to do that because that's actually where you respawn, right? Your NCO is your spawn point. And that means that as you advance, if you get into the trenches, you're going to be able to do a bunch of stuff. Hello? There we go. Ow, I just fully lost track of where the guy was. So we're going to do this. Okay. Fair enough. Oof. He has a grenade? Why don't I have a grenade? I have no anything. I just have my gun. Which technically has a bayonet, but... Damn. Unfortunately, I need to reload before I can charge. But you heard the order. We were told to charge, and therefore we're charging. Through the smoke. Through the smoke. And I am the first person into the trench. Let's go. Okay, well that went well. Not even the improvised trench club. We're playing as a Brit. We're playing as a Brit right now. I am in a British squadron. Oh, our attack lost momentum. Oh, I do have one grenade. I just don't know how to use it. How do I use the grenade? I would love to. That's a gas mask. That's not a grenade. That's a gas mask. I would love to know how to use my one grenade, but I do apparently have one grenade. Anyway. I have no ammo left. Hey. Don't mind me. I don't want to stand here. That's too many. That's so many people that we're going to get artillery struck. Like that. Yeah, that one. Oh no, you can't support being British? Yeah. Also, yeah, by this, I mean the French uniforms are still pretty easy to spot on this map. They actually do change the uniforms depending on what map you're on, which is excellent. Thoroughly enjoyed and appreciated. Oh, well, that guy's dead. There we go. Got another one. Alright. Wait, part of the reserves? I thought there weren't any Brits at Verdun. Ha. You are correct, but well, this is not Verdun. Right? Verdun, the game was originally supposed to be just Verdun, but they did, expand it a bit. So, we are actually in Argonne. So we are in one of the heavily fortified areas that was part of the main 1918 offensive. Yeah. So, there is a Verdun map. Douaumont is the map that is set in Verdun. But it is, right now we are actually somewhere else on the front, and there's a bunch of places on the front that we can be. Oh, I missed. I didn't miss that time. Oh, that's gas. Let me put that on real quick. And then we're just gonna... Oh, I took it off. Put it back on. And then we're gonna reload. And then off we go. But, yeah, this is something that the game does that is interesting and worth noting. Points are tied. Game over. The game does not commit itself to any particular year. Right? The game devs have come out and said...
This ain't over.
That the main... Ooh, we were in the best squad of the match. That's exciting. I didn't really do a lot, but that's fine. I leveled up once. But yeah, right, oh, well, meh. So, we can now either be at Artois or Ain next. Let's be at Artois. Oh. It tied. Twice this sector was a pivotal point of the war, twice a combined Allied army. In 1914 was a dramatic thing, and then throughout 1915 and 1916, this remained static until 1917, in which the French attacked a disastrous breakthrough on the well-defended Chemin de Dain. 1918 saw the return of movement in the Second Battle of the Marne. So, right, as they do that, right, because so many battles occur in each site in the war, the game devs had a bit of a challenge. Right? They want... We are on attack first, right? Thank God we are on attack first. So, rather than trying to say any particular thing... Oh, I'm a US soldier this time. I'm a US doughboy. Got him. Ah, damn. I tried to get down into the thing. We can just do an offline map. That's gonna be the best we can do. So there's just bots, and I can just wander around murking bots. But yeah, right, since it's not... Ow. Since it's trying to not be... any particular battle, any particular historical battle, and we are instead trying to communicate the the experience of the battlefields at large. Ow. Dang, this one guy is just sniping me over and over. That's rough. I gotta get closer to the trenches and or attack from somewhere else. Or we can attack from the same spot but faster. We're just gonna run like hell, we're gonna hide behind the hay bale, and we're gonna reload. Got him. I got Soup. I ended Soup's kill streak. Ow. Fair enough. But right, let's take a look here before I respawn. We have a British battalion, we have a British battalion, we have a British battalion, we have a new Australian battalion, we have a US battalion, we have a British battalion, we have a British battalion. Alright, so not a lot of Frenchmen on this map. But then we've got Landwehr infantry, right, we've got basically a bunch of German infantry and looks like maybe one or two Austrian infantry. Ow. Killed by luck of the draw. Sag. But right. All of this is to say that that this game actually is pretty good about not being hyper-US centric, because there is more than one play. But I also want to acknowledge, right, the trenches here are bad. Put simply, the trenches here are not good. That is actually, to some extent, by design. Love that for me. Because they have done an enormous amount of work, right? The game devs have done an enormous amount of work researching the different battlefields and what the trench layouts were, and simulating that as best they can. But then they need to decorate it, right? They need to decorate various things. So they'll may have late period tanks with earlier period trenches. Or they may like to use chlorine gas in a nominal time setting that is not using chemical weapons yet. And all of those are deliberate design decisions for the sake of creating variety and communicating an overall understanding of the war, rather than any specific thing comes from. Right? And
we're not giving this up without a fight.
So, we end up with this overall kind of communicated sense of the sort of back and forth that, at least sometimes, ow, another artillery strike. I've gotten killed by so many artillery here. Oh, that's another artillery. Remind me to not run that direction real quick. Where are you shooting from? Or what are you shooting at? Got him. I need a reload. Ugh, my guy is reloading one bullet at a time. Because I don't have a Lee Enfield. Ow. But yeah. So, right, they're really doing a phenomenal job on this back and forth. Obviously, does this mean that this is ever any specific battlefield? No. But that's probably by design. Because if there's never a specific battlefield, you never have... Ugh. I had him lined up and then I jerked when I got shot. Funny how that works. But they go, you know, they basically say, hey, you don't actually want, or, oh, alright, I can't push forward yet. Where's their damn foothold? That was a nice shot. I feel good about that. Add another goddamn artillery strike, because the bots keep standing on top of me. Ah!
Let's smoke 'em out.
And we lost the point. So now we are attacking to try and retake the trench that we just lost. Because this game has some, you know, difficulties kind of inherent to its design. Right? As a historical shooter game... Where the hell is the... Oh, he's on a flank. Okay, that makes sense. As a historical shooter, it has to say, hey, we need to create something that is fun to play, with a set match time that feels satisfying, where you're able to, you know, actually do what we need to. Ah, boo. I nearly bayoneted him. Oh, that is just fully... That is just fully a mortar strike. So let's take advantage of that. I wish I knew how to use my grenade. I really wish I knew how to use my grenade. Let me check. Melee weapon is... Okay. 2, 3, 4, 5. Throw grenade is G. Makes sense. G for grenade.
We're not giving this up without a fight.
There we are. And now we've captured this bit. Again. And now we have to go defend it again. And so here we go, just doing that. These two are covering me so I can reload safely. We're gonna peek up, we're gonna fire a tire, we're gonna take a shot, and we're gonna get back down. Can't see freaking anything from here. They got into the ditch, which is bad. Turns out we don't like that, so, you know, we're gonna try and make sure that that doesn't happen. Ow. Thank you. That's a plane dropping a line of smokes. Alright, we're down here, so we're... boom. Here we go again. Fewer machine guns than you expected. So... barbed wire in the last map is extremely light. That's fair. There are some places with a lot of barbed wire, but a lot of these maps don't have a lot. Oh, that was I can't afford to miss that shot. But yeah, actually, machine guns exist on some maps, but not everyone. But basically, right, that's because machine guns don't exist in that, like, that, yay. There's one. Someone's got a light machine gun. There's a light machine gun right around here, it looks like. But, right, they are... That's a nice... Yeah, they aren't that common, right? They exist. Let's be very clear. And they're important. But, one estimate I saw said about, like, 2 for, like, a company? So 2 for, like, 700 people? Oh, he's dead. He's dead. Oh, that's a friend. Those are friendlies. Wait, that didn't hit? That hit. Alright. That's good. And I am out of ammo. That's extremely bad. Yep. Companies around 100? Oh. You're right. That's not correct. It's like... It's a couple for... Like... It's like 2 for every 700 people, I think. So there just aren't that many of them. Right. There simply are not that many machine guns. And given that this map is 64 v 64, right, there being really more than 1, maybe 2 machine gun nests, actually would be an issue. Per division, that would make sense. That makes more sense. I don't know hierarchies. But yeah, it's like... Two for every 700-ish people. So there simply, like, just aren't... Aren't all that many? Alright, that was a 2. Took 2, got 1. And that means, like, they aren't the primary thing. They're important, don't get me wrong. Obviously. They're not all that important. Certainly, and I think this game makes the right call in saying, hey, the main thing are infantry. There are, maybe, possibly, sometimes... a few cases. Maybe, possibly, sometimes a few positions, where... What is that? Hopefully none of my people get caught in that. That'll be kind of embarrassing. There we go. Britain's closer to 1 per 700. Alright. Point is, still, given that this is a really small slice of land that we are going kind of back and forth over perpetually, right, machine guns don't necessarily play the sort of enormous...
Hold the line! Hold the line!
enormous role that we imagine them to. Right, thank you, Warhorse. Well, that traded at least. But, well, don't feel good about... Oh, my squad is playing abysmally. My squad even has, like, a real person on it. Or a second real person. I'm a real person. But we're just not playing well. Like, we are right near the bottom. We are almost the worst performing company in this entire roster. Also, yeah, 1 or 2 machine guns is enough. You're not wrong. But...
Hold the line! Hold the line!
we're gonna lay down and we're gonna heal. We're gonna just yeet that and see if I killed someone with it. Really? Those missed at point blank.
We're not giving this up without a fight!
Yeah. I don't... Look. I understand that it's important to be precise about these hierarchies, but also, I don't know them and I don't care about them. So, I will accept the correction that those are divisions, not battalions. With the acknowledgement that it is not something I find important. I was really hoping I could land that snipe. Oh. Yeah. And killed by thing. Every time. Why do I have a big attack order there? That seems like a silly place to have an attack order, but that's fine. But yeah, right, I love how they construct the environments here. Like, it is so evocative. There we go.
Your ass is over there!
Alright, where is my company? Where are my people? Do I have orders to attack a specific point? I am standing next to my guy. We get bonuses for calling a mortar strike on right in front of me. Once that lands, we should be all set to go. Ow! Damn. You really like how hastily constructed everything looks? Yeah. Right? They are, like, super... It's simultaneous... Okay, there's a bunch of people... There's a machine gun nest right there that we should try and assault.
Get back in line, soldier!
Damn it. I ran outside of the game field. Well, still being meaningful foliage there, shallow, unfortified trenches, and one dinky line of barbed wire. Yeah. Right? There's little bits of barbed wire, but not a lot. And these trenches certainly aren't helping much of anyone. And we're fighting over farmland, right? Like, this is not... I'm hearing a machine gun. Where am I seeing a machine gun? Don't want to get bombed at. Boo. But that felt good, right? Turns out if you follow orders a little bit better, just a little bit, you're able to actually take a position. Once you've taken a position, you're able to do a little bit more to start pushing into other positions. A little bit more. Ow. This guy really has it out for me. Soup must be one of their top players. Yeah, Soup is the top player in the lobby. Ah, I got bat spawned. But yeah, all of this is to say, right, this looks like this battle nominally, primarily takes place in 1914 or early 1915. Right? It's a very early stage of the war. And some of the other maps we see are going to show much later stages in the war. And that's good, right? That's all very good. Whew. A buddy saved me there. Because that was not my skill that kept me up. And another damn artillery strike. I am 48 and 29 on this map. That's rough. You can... No. That's a luck of the draw thing. Dragon Wolf. Just as a heads up. That is not a... That is not a... Oh, it coincidentally is a look at our historical accuracy thing. But it's first and foremost a... We got lucky sort of thing. Because there's no... It depends on what battalion you are in, what types of things you can draw. Right? So right now we have battalions that prioritize, to a fairly significant extent, mortar bombardments and smokes, rather than gas deployment. Yeah, I was not sufficiently behind cover there. Why humph? Yo. Like, that is a complaint that makes little sense to me. I just said that they designed these maps to, well, they have an overarching time in which they are. They have elements from all throughout the war in every single map. There are tanks in the back end of this map. Like... They're all blown out, but there are tanks throughout the map. There are I'm an American battalion, right? In 1914, an American battalion armed with Lee Enfield, with 1917 Lee Enfields. Right, but there's a certain fictionality to this that is really, really important to what the game is trying to do. Like, really quite important. Oh, I was actually the top person in my lobby. That's exciting. Let's grab Picardy, because hopefully Picardy is the Somme. So that'll be fun. Ah, boo. They couldn't decide whether they wanted to be in Champagne or Picardy. But yes, in 1914 using a 1917 Lee Enfield. Right. Okay, good. So now we're going to be in the Somme, and we're going to see So we are attacking first, it looks like. Are we attacking first? It's not clear. But yeah, right, so it's dependent on your NCO.
Hold the line. Eyes on the horizon.
There they are. Let's see if I can get a 6 snipe. I cannot get any 6 snipes. I am a US doughboy, by the way. Why are you standing in front of the damn thing? I figured only the enemy would be dumb enough to stand directly in front of the fortified defensive position. I was wrong. This is the Somme, right? This is... We are now solidly middle of the war, right?
Hold the line. Hold the line.
And so these are our super fortified trenches. This is what our trenches... This is what we imagine the trenches to look like. With that one. Got that snipe. Oh, that felt good. That felt good. And then we'll drop right back in. Will be someone else also on the line. Oh, I lined up with the wrong part. Really? That wasn't a hit? Alright. That was 5 kills out of... or 4 kills with 6 bullets. I will fully... Hello? Turns out if I just focus in, if I focus in, I do significantly better. But yeah, right, I'd also observe, though, you know, that those are positions that are really hard, barbed wire, getting the exact layout. We know it's dense. We have photographs to suggest it's dense. But in terms of getting right all of the detail about exactly where it is and how dense it is, like, that's basically impossible. Ooh. We can switch squad type to French. Cool. Oh, actually, we're Senegalese. Hey, you want something that this game, again, does very well? Relevant diversity? Oh god, I have 3 bullets in this rifle. Oh boy. Yep, that is a look. Tell me that's a fast reload. It is. Thank god. Do I have a grenade? I do not have a grenade. So yeah, I'm a Senegalese troop, with 3 bullets and a dream, and that's fine. I have no grenades, I have no ammo. But, you know, as per usual, right, it's a safe guess. And in fact, in this case, we can really basically just confirm it. The weapon, the accuracy of the weapons, right, as something that is very common to kind of need to get right. That's something that's really important to get right for a World War I battle. They get it extremely, boo. Extremely well done. And that includes undersupplying the Senegalese troops. Yep. Yep. Unlucky. But so it goes. I want to get a good sniper. Boo. No snipes for me. Okay, one snipe for me. But I actually like this one. The Berthier really emphasizes how desperate France was for any rifles. Oh, I have to empty the magazine for this. Oh, that is a fascinating touch. I have 3 shots, I have to fire 3 times before I can reload at all. But once I do, I reload quickly. With my basically non-existent sights. And the game ended. Why did the game end? Because the game crashed. Okay. I lost connection to the server, and therefore I got kicked out. That's okay though. That is good for us, because it's time for us to take an ad break anyway. We're gonna try and summarize the last little bit there, and then we'll actually load into an offline match to look at some of the other maps that are available. I think that's gonna be our plan for the next phase of this, but first we're gonna take an ad break, because we take those regularly in order to make sure that we all have the ability to stand up, stretch, and do whatever else we need to. Dragon Wolf, in this case they specified they were Senegalese. So that would pretty much confirm that they're French colonial. I mean, I agree with you, right? Black US troops, such as the Harlem Hellfighters, were put under French command. But in this case, they did specify that it was Senegalese riflemen. Or Senegalese snipers, I guess? I don't know how to translate terreau. I think that's how you say that word. I don't know. I don't speak French. You know this. Anyway, though. We'll be back in 3 minutes, give or take, so don't go anywhere. We'll be back in just a moment. Alright, welcome back everyone. Hope you enjoyed that brief ad break. We're able to get set up, get some tea, all that stuff. So, I want to sum up the thoughts on where we're at right now, and then we're going to load back into the game, play as an NCO to look at some of the stuff they can do, and try and explore a bit more about some of the different factions that are involved. So, basically, the core thing the game wants to do is that it needs to create a multiplayer shooter that is relatively balanced for large squad combat. Right, that's its core gameplay consideration. This is not a single player game. There are offline modes, but there are no single player modes. Right, there is no campaign. There is no, you're going to play it through the battles in this order, and this is going to represent specific dates and specific times. That was a thing that got scrapped, right? An idea that got scrapped during development because they realized it is more interesting and more important to not try and restrict themselves to one specific battle, and then trying to get every little detail about that battle right, and then trying to balance that battle, and then trying to use the same factions with often the same equipment in a different battle and preserve the fun. Right, that just doesn't work. And so they instead, try to take a looser approach to where they're really concerned about, the individual accuracy of the weapons, of the structure, but are primarily focused about this moment-to-moment instance of an assault, right? The crawling through the trenches, the taking shelter in artillery things, the fact that it's actually, not easy, but very doable to make it from point A to point B across no man's land without, standing in the wide open and just having to stand there while a machine gun strafes you. Obviously that happens, but they do a phenomenal job on showing that crossing of no man's land. That thing that is incredibly famous and really badly represented in games so far, right? Also, I appreciate everyone who loves the Pride love. Happy Pride, that's gonna be here all month. But yeah, so, right, as far as that goes, that moment-to-moment gameplay, with the NCOs whistling, trying to cross no man's land, trying to set objectives, it is doing a really good job on showcasing that, while also, being genuinely fun. Like, I'm having a very good time playing this, even when I get sniped a bunch. And it doesn't, reject the brutality of the war. Notice, these matches cover very little ground. It's a wildly mismatched game that you're actually going to progress to the end of the map. But by using a control point system and using points, you're able to communicate the sense of there being a meaningful give and take, and have a narratively interesting multiplayer match without sacrificing the historical realities of the Western Front as being something that occurs over a very small amount of horizontal distance for the span of 2 years, right? Obviously, in 1914, the war is super mobile. In 1918, the war is super mobile. In between those two, the Western Front is super static, and they do a really good job on showcasing some of that. So, it gives the player a sense of tangible victory without creating a real contradiction of the historicity of how the front works. And that's a tough line to walk. That's a line that Great War Western Front last week, I think, failed to walk. So, big props on them so far. This first impression is actually very positive, and I'll be really curious to see how this gets manipulated for the Eastern Front, which remains highly mobile throughout. Now, Let's try and hop into another one here. These are all private. That's just more Picardy. Right, you can see the different places, right? We've got Saint-Mihiel, Douaumont, Argonne, Champagne, Ain, Picardy, Artois, and Flanders. This is the one I would love to do, but I don't know that I'm going to get a choice in the matter. I unfortunately do not get a choice in the matter. Short of creating a custom match, I don't get a choice in the matter, so we're just going to hope we roll Douaumont to show you what Verdun looks like. Also Saint-Mihiel. I would love to get both of these, but we'll see. We'll see. For right now, let's just load into... Let's try and load in as an NCO for the Central Powers in Picardy. In 1918, the Germans made a push for Amiens, recapturing lost ground and separating French and British armies. However, the attack petered out, and the Allies went on with the final and ultimately successful counteroffensive. So, right, like, they highlight 3 different battles, right? They highlight 1914, they highlight the Somme, and they highlight the 1918 offensive. So yeah, we are now a German officer. Have I mentioned that I hate trying to aim with this German pistol? Like, this German pistol sucks to aim with. I say as I kill 3 people with it. As an NCO, though, we have some extra abilities. Right, we can basically create a commanding aura. Ow. Fair. And then we can call in extra stuff. Because, you know, random riflemen aren't actually able to call in big, heavy things. Unlike, say, you know... did I just lose connection again? Why am I losing connection? Goofy. We're gonna hope that connection holds, otherwise I'll have to switch offline and just beat up some bots. But yeah, the random rifleman can't do anything. That's not how that works. And so, instead, and quite helpfully, really, we dropped gas on ourselves? Are we dumb? Are we dumb? Ow. Why did we drop a gas shell on ourselves? As far as I know, the only person I've seen able to drop gas shells are German officers, which is, you know, a bit problematic, but that's fine. The Germans did use it first, and then everyone else went like, this is a good idea, and used it. But we don't have that. We instead have a mortar. So we're just gonna get to call in a mortar on our enemies. And that is, I think, one of the weaknesses of this game, right? In trying to be like, hey, here's the moment-to-moment. Here's the moment-to-moment of how this works. They really don't get any combined arms battles. Right, big combined arms assaults of the type we would like to see, or expect to see, don't really show up. Just not a thing. Ow. Fair enough. Because the NCOs just get to do it. And instead of it being, like, I don't know, a kill streak bonus, like in Call of Duty or Battlefield, right? Oh, you killed X many people, have an artillery strike, get that dopamine. It's something just NCOs have on a timer. So we have the ability to drop a mortar shell on wherever. We just have to be careful because there's some delay. Right, we have to see the spot. Oh yeah, phosgene. I suppose I should actually put on that. So like right there. And in a bit, we're gonna get... Ow. I'm gonna drop a mortar on them and hopefully kill that guy as revenge. Come on. Come on, can I see it? Do I get to see it? Come on. Give me that dopamine. No? No dopamine for me? Sag. So either it missed, or it hasn't hit yet. There we go! I killed one person. Well, that was underwhelming. Oh, there it was. Dopamine isn't real? Terrible news. Damn. Did I just get bayoneted? No, I think I got sniped. Sorry, old boy, I'm afraid the blockade has stopped the dopamine supply line. We're on strict rations. Strict dopamine rations over here. It does feel really good when you get a mortar in just the right spot. Oh, there's a guy, yep. He was just spamming. Oof. See, when that happens, and you just get like 5 people. Oh. Hi, did I lag out? We good? Game? Stream? We good? Oh good, there's my squad. Also, one thing I love, by the way. Oh, we have a different thing now. Where's my squad? My squad's here. Great. They all spawned on me, which is great news. What's my new ability? Sector Artillery. Oh, that's fun. Well, I want to save that for the attack, I think. If I am able to. If I am able to save that for the attack, I'm going to want to do that. Oh boy. There's some shenanigans happening. Oh, that's a bunch of people. Right on top of our heads. I killed the guy with the LMG, though. That was all I cared about. Just kill that LMG, because that was gonna be bad. And, we are now getting close, right? I mean, I love how they've designed this, like, mid-war Battle of the Somme. Like, I love it. Yes, the barbed wire is still too light, but it does communicate a sense of the fact that there's these, like, fortifications. Like, there should be barbed wire all the way through here. But it's not that big a deal. Right. Are you gonna put on your thing, Otto? Or are you just gonna asphyxiate? Just gonna get up on my guy. I got 3? I got 3. And there's the Chaos of Trench fighting. Oh no, there's a bunch of you. One thing we're not seeing a whole lot of, but that I would like to see more of, is... the fact that the main clearing, right, one of the main tools to clear a trench is throw grenades in there. And we're not really seeing that in most of these trench moments, right? We're not seeing a lot of melee weapons, though. I don't even know if I have a melee weapon. Also, I should put this on if I'm going to jump into that trench. Because guess what? Like a good trench, things... the gas sinks. That's bad news. Okay, I think the gas is clear. Right, because phosgene and chlorine are both heavier than air, and so they both sink. And so they fill up in the trenches and will cause bad news to anyone who's close. Okay, but can I... where's this damn foothold? I'm gonna just run through here until we... never mind, by run through here I'm gonna I mean put on my gas mask again. That's a friendly, that's an unfriendly. We're just gonna crouch. We are a sneaky beaky. Really, all those missed? Are they both that pale green color? I don't know. I'll be honest. I do not know. Oh yeah, by the way, as an NGO, there's something else we can do, and that's we can just literally scout out this whole spot. Look for enemies. Spots of fierce fighting. From freaking Narnia. And then we can, once I've done that, I should be able to call in an artillery sector strike. We're gonna do it right there, I think. We're gonna see how that goes for me. And hopefully that is gonna be the good dopamine. And not cause a bunch of friendly fire. Ah, I just missed. Unlucky. Okay, please don't lag out. Let's get down. Ah, boo. I was so close to getting down in there. But right, that's kind of the strat. You just kind of cross this no man's land, and you do a bunch of stuff there. And then, as you do, I create a new order to attack a less stupid position, hopefully. Ow. What's my ability going to be? Oh, it's a sector artillery again. I just need to get into a good position to actually pull another sector artillery. Oh. Love how it lags when I do that. Love being able to check the scoreboard. And... gosh, I am not able to see a good spot to drop that artillery yet. Oh. I'm gonna drop you right there. Oh, that's a friendly. Bill. Wow, and I am in the highest performing thing. Admittedly not necessarily through my own skill, but that guy who's 93 and 17 definitely is carrying. Can't believe someone's 93 and 17. Oh, hey, that's a Fokker triplane, isn't it? Is that a triplane or is that a biplane? That's a biplane. I can count. 1, 2... Ow. Well, you know, that's what I get for counting. This is why you don't do math, chat. Do math, get sniped. But what a beautiful crashed plane. And right, we've seen planes running overhead doing the thing that planes want to do. Which is fly way above us. Oh, nice shovel. Right, fly way above everyone's heads. Come on, where can I aim that at? Right there. And... I mean, right, we saw that bit of detritus. Oh, that's that dope. Yup. That's what we are here for. Did you see all that score? Fantastic. And there's wild poppies growing everywhere? Yeah. Right, a lot of small details. Oh, that's a friendly. Ah, I got bombed. You know, that thing that they do. They do love bombing people. Who could have guessed? Right? Who could have possibly guessed that, do I have another sector artillery up then? No, I do not. Oh. And there's the game. Alright. GG's, good draw, good draw. The Battle of the Somme will run for another 6 months. Congratulations everyone, we did it. We did it, we did it, we did it. We were in the best squad of the match, we love that. Even though we did not do it, we were not the reason we were in the best squad of the match, but that's fine. It's totally fine. And we leveled up our ability to work as an Unterofficer. Now, what I would love is for us to get the... No. I was really hoping we'd get Duomo. We're gonna keep trying. We're gonna keep playing matches until we get Duomo. But still. Fighting for these industrial high grounds began in 1914 and 1915. The Artois sector was the site of several Allied breakthrough attempts, including at Neuve-Chapelle, and Aubert, and Vimy and Loreto. A major British breakthrough was attempted in late 1915, and it remained static until 1917, when the Canadians took it in the Battle of Vimy Ridge. Right? Really important site for annual offensive maneuvers. And once again, that means they can't quite be super specific. Because is this going to be 1917? I mean, these trenches are awfully built up, and we've got a beautiful parapet, and a beautiful paradon. Well, not quite. We've got a very beautiful parapet, and a very simplistic paradon. Ow. Walk into my own barbed wire, why don't I? And we're gonna, ow, die to a machine gun. See, they've got a machine gunner there, and then people standing on the paradons behind the trench. Which they probably shouldn't do. They should be standing on the firing ridge. But we can't fault the game for, you know, not being able to get that level of granular. Yep, that's a machine gun, alright. Yep. This is the World War I experience you all signed up for. Look at that, these nice trenches. Don't suppose I have a mortar yet to just drop a mortar on it? No. Of course I don't. Oh wow. I actually got that shot. I was not expecting to actually get that shot. Alright, gonna take this chance to reload. I'm gonna drop the order here for them to all push up. That's a grenade. My guy! I would love if I could drop a mortar right there. Oh god, that was not the right button. We'll see if that kills my own people or if that's actually good. My instinct is that's not going to be good. Alright, I got a couple. Mostly killed my people, though. Also, I can't hear a damn thing. God, this is such a defended position. Like, I am feeling oh, that was a Canadian guy with a bayonet. That's a Canadian guy with an LMG. Don't love that. That's a Canadian guy with a rifle when I am bad at aiming. I actually don't know that these are Canadian. I just assume they've got good hats and therefore they must be. They're also all bots, by the way, just a heads up. Oh, they're Anzac. It's an Australian company that I just wiped. There it was. Ow. Ah. What a good round, though. Like, that felt very good. And this is why trenches are good, right? Turns out assaulting trench... there's a lot of people right there. There's a big artillery strike landing right here. I want to try and defend in this area as much as I can. I spawned on the other side of the map. No. Admittedly, the other side of the map was like 60 meters away, but... boo. This guy... I do have another mortar up now, I think, right? Yeah. Let's see. Need to make sure I don't drop a mortar on my people. Yep. Are there maps where the trenches are flooded with water? I don't think so, not in this one. But this game was released in 2014, and so, you know, things maybe don't work quite as well. And now we're attacking again, aren't we? Dang it. Well, on the one hand, that makes landing the... That makes landing things easier, because all those are enemies. So we're just gonna drop a mortar in there. And hopefully that's gonna be big money. Come on, big money. Give me that big money. Give it to me. I whiffed. I think I just missed. That's rubbish. Right, I'd be curious to see, right, if some of the later games, right, Tannenberg or Isonzo, do have more of a, like, dynamic terrain. Since our ability to, you know, model terrain easily has gone wildly up in the past decade. Right, this game's from 2014, so in the last 10 years, there's actually been an enormous improvement in our ability. We're just gonna vault that real quick. Thank you. I got sniped. By a kamikaze cat. You think it's all the same engine? Boo. That is unfortunate. And probably does restrict it. But even so, right, if they've made engine upgrades, they still may have the ability to set things up better. Don't quite have mortar use up yet. I almost got that command off. Right, they're all huddling in that corner, which means that corner is going to be really good. You just have to not be bad, you know. Not spawn on the other goddamn side of the... The other side of the map means 50 meters away, but still. I don't feel good about that mortar. That may actually turn out to be good. Because those are all friendlies, so... There's a chance. I almost got him. Come on, bots, do something. Bots? Bots. Bots. There's a guy standing right next to you. Bot. Oh my god. We're gonna hope. We are going to hope that they are able to model some of these a bit better. By the way, the fact that hip firing, the fact that there's no reticle to aim for hip firing is a really small but nice touch. Like, genuinely a lot to like about that. Because it means that you just miss, right? Randomly firing, unless if you're literally up against their face, just misses. There's not a lot you can do about that. Unless if you're an absolute god, it's just gonna miss. I would love if one of them had a grenade. Well, that was the right concept. Oh, that wasn't friendly. Oh, that was the enemy. I thought that was one of my artillery. Oh, that's tragic. What are you... Sir. What are you aiming at? And even if they don't, right, you can't get a perfect simulation, cause, right, how do you make a perfect simulation of something that is so environmentally contingent? You can't actually communicate the sense of all this smoke, right, of the sort of blood and guts of it all, the searing of the gas. Boo. I'm not playing well this map. You're not really able to communicate a lot of that, right? The ways the environment plays a role, right? If you're a West African force, fully across map snipe. Respect. Let's get down. Maybe I just don't want to stand right here. Whew. This guy's getting shot at. You can see the sparks. Don't stand there, you're gonna... These bots! Gonna be the enemy. I should have checked the minimap, huh? But that was visible. Oh, look at that gas drop. But hey, there's the combined arms, right? You get shell to hell. And either you move or you're... Who's this cicada player? Who are you? 24 and 5. Yeah, no, that checks out. Oh, one of my squad mates is just fully AFK. Oh, that was a lot of people. That was a lot of people. And the enemy is now gaining momentum, and now off we go again. Right, so we repeat, so we repeat, so we repeat. Unfortunately, this game is not live enough, or not popular enough for us to be able to just swap to a different map. We're kind of in it for the long haul, but that's okay. Right? It's not like... Whee! Don't mind me. Just gonna duck in here. And then we're gonna command order. And then we do that. Kill a random guy. Hello, yes, please spawn on me. Oof. Also, the fact that we get the individual score for teamwork is just a nice touch. Right, it is communicating that this is not a thing won by heroic plays, though heroic plays definitely can assist. Right, there is a role for heroic plays. So it's not necessarily the role we would... Not necessarily the role we pray for. Okay, there we go. Yeah. That was a grenade. Rip. I'm really not you know, doing a good job on avoiding those nades. Ow. Please don't snipe me. Please don't snipe me. Thank you. Let's get inside. Like. Alright, we control this bit right now. Where can I drop a good mortar? I can drop a worse mortar. I can drop a bad mortar there. Okay, they're pushing. It's behind here, right around here. Those are all our people, so I want to be careful. No! I got killed by the bot. Oh. God, I really desperately need to get a... I'm struggling. I'm struggling real hard. You need to do some errands? Sounds good. We will see you later, Magistressa. We're just having a good time, right? Hey, I killed 2, 3. Killed 3. No. No. God, this high ground position is just so defensible. Assuming I can aim. Turns out if you can't aim, it doesn't actually matter. And if you take an artillery to the face, it doesn't matter. God, I hate... I mean, I love the artillery. I just... Man, artillery, it does a good job, despite being rare, of being very impactful. Let's get right back in here. Oh, I got bayoneted. Unlucky. Aiming sounds made up. True. Huge news if true. Oh, I love the AFK. Okay, they're all dead because they're gonna get hit by an artillery strike. I'm dead because I get sniped from across the map by a... which is fair. You know, I was standing on top of the ridge. I was standing on top of a random ridge at about eye level, so that's understandable. I don't blame them for that. We'll find out. I have no idea if the one's right this second. That's fine. I dropped a mortar on him. He should just die from mortar. 3, 2, 1, maybe. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. How long is this delay on this mortar strike? Now hold up. Since this is the play I'm doing, I should make sure that that's the play everyone else on my squad is doing. Sure. Thank you for running directly in front of my gun. Not feeling good about this. Always sound like the same 2 or 3 people? They definitely do that. Right? There really are. Though I think that's going to be generally pretty... Okay, they have stacked in that area. You know what this means? Chat, do you know what this means? With a bit of luck, they still are contesting that area by the time the mortar drops in. And it's not going to blow up my own people. It's probably going to blow up my own people. Ooh, it killed 2. We take that. There was one time where I got 200. Ugh. Come on, we should take this. Why are they not pushing up into the fortified area? The AI is making decisions. Because this is just such a good area if you can hold it. But, you know, if we win this, if we can capture this point and then die slowly, we're likely going to win. I don't know if that's gonna Ow. God damn. Grenades. Alright, we got momentum, which is more time. And if we can turn that momentum into... kills, or into capture... I'm close to that. Yeah. Having a hard time getting in. Ooh, that is a machine gun nest, though, by the way, up front. I suppose that's why this is so defended. This is a machine gun nest. Which explains, the getting mauled at the start of the game by walking in line of the machine gun nest. That's good to know that that's there. Let's go a different path. Past the dead horse. Poor draft animals. We have a foothold. Yeah, let's go. That's another machine gun. Ah, we lost the point. So I have to go back up the hill. Up and over, up and over, up and over. Thank you. Yo! That got... Nice hand, guy. Ow. God, my whole squad is completely useless, but so it goes. Hey, guess what? The battle tied. Let's get Douaumont. Because Douaumont is interesting because it's just such a different map. Like, that's what I'm really hoping for. It's such a different map from all of these. But I really hope that we get a chance to see it. Oh, I did the best on my squad. I also got the most assists. We love that. Oh boy. 46 and 30 though. We take that. If you're conscripted to fight, does that make you a draft animal? Boo. Alright, well we still didn't get that, so we're gonna get champagne. Because this is the open chalky plain. In July 1918, the front saw fighting again in the last German offensive action of the war. Later that year, in September, it finally pushed northwards, with war ending shortly after. So this is going to be, right, simultaneously 1914 and 1918. Right, so late 1914, late 1915, late 1918 as 3 time periods. We're also, by the way, not getting, we haven't gotten Flanders yet for the Nivelle offensives, and we haven't gotten Douaumont for, the game in which the thing is based. So that would... I'm not sure I understand your brain sometimes, Lonely Spaceport. Chickens... We have taught chickens to do combat. It got banned for being horrible. Oh yeah, by the way, you wanted big trenches? Heck. I was just playing in the trench. Oh. We're gonna literally hold this. Can you stop jiggling, sir? It didn't help. Shooting him again did not help my cause. Oh, that's a bad. Thank you, friend. Glory to the kangaroo. We've got an Australian. Where do we have the Australians on the team? Infantry Regiment, the Storm Battalion, West Yorkshire. Yeah, there it is, the 17th Infantry Battalion. I was like, Kangaroo Island. Why are you pushing out of the trench in order to push back into the trench? I'm just saying. Is that a friendly flame? That's a friendly Flammenwerfer. I saw the red pants and I fired at the red pants. Okay, gang. I'm just saying, we should move. But look at how deep and fortified these trenches are. Oh, you're... No scoped. Look at how amazing these trenches are. Look at... Is this a nighttime battle? Yes, it is. I pushed up too far. I'm being too aggressive. Oh, there's a big artillery strike called in. Gang. Gang. What are they doing? My whole squad is just sitting there. Oh, the 95th Company, 6 Marines, and another French squad joined the battle. Again with this damned... Where's their foothold? Oh, those are friendly. I thought those weren't friendly. Alright, the Flammenwerfer is doing Flammenwerfing things. Could you not Flammenwerf in my face? Good lord. That's the first time you've heard Flammenwerf be used as a verb? I mean, that's fair. But also, it's such a good verb. If it's a flamethrower, there must be a verb that is throwing flame, right? That's just logic right there. That's just how grammar works. I am, of course, treating it like an English word, but, you know, neither here nor there. That's the back end of the trench. I should not run away. We are not cowards here. We are a little bit cowards here. Where is their foothold? And can I get rid of it? Oh, that's a friendly. That's also a friendly. Any movement in the smoke? Appreciate you, Grenadier. I thought there's this many people in here. Just I was almost certainly... We're just gonna do this in hopes of getting a hit marker. Once I've gotten one hit marker, I should be able to get more. Also, I'm just not dropping mortars. Yeah. Where's their foothold? Literally, they've had a foothold for like a month. And it's not marked where it is. I'm not sure where it is. And, I think it might be over there, where everyone died. How did you die? What did you die from? Well, this guy keeps dropping I can't locate a good spot to drop artillery, or to drop my mortar. There's firing in here. We'll try and drop it in this trench. But I don't know where they're coming in from, so having a hard time. Oh, never mind, we just... No, they have another foothold. How do they have another foothold? Why do they have another foothold? The world may never know. That's a... Yay for dropping gas into these super deep trenches. You 100% should not spawn on me right now. Like, where are they? Oh. And another. That's so... Oh, that's an Australian. With the machine gun. That's super unlucky. Oh, Lily Spacebar, are you heading out? Oh. Okay. Wolfie, have a good night, my friend. You can see how well I'm doing. I'm, like... Nothing is happening here because we can't find each other. Everyone's clustered in this area, though, which makes me think that the fighting... Ow. It makes me think that the relevant Australian front is somewhere over here. But I can't fucking see them. Like, where are you all? We're going to lay down in this shell hole, and then we're going to hop in here. And we're going to reload. We're going to get 80 points for murdering, for just mauling people. That felt good. Wow, no scope headshot. Ah, boo. Found them. I found the enemy. I found all of the enemy. You have that problem regularly, Space. Push the enemy back. They have a foothold. Okay, like, I'm trying, but, like... This squad is accomplishing nothing. Suppose I should make an attack. A command that actually says, hey, we should push into this area. Oh, well, found them. The idea was good. Does he have a shotgun? He has a shotgun. That's just rude. And now we spawn on the other end of the goddamn map. So I have to try and cross up and over. Even though our squad actually has, like, really good control over this area. Okay, really good control, I say. Well, rolling. Oh, that's a friendly. Don't move suspiciously if you're a friendly. Like, goddamn. The Flammenwerfer needs to chill. Needs to just be not like that. Those are friendlies. Fair enough. And that's LMGs in the trenches because, what do you know? Alright, if I died up there, then I need to drop a mortar right in there as soon as I get the chance. Because that'll do big numbers. That's gonna do huge numbers. Also, my guys are so, like, I mean, yes, those are a good stat line. No, it's not. It's 3 and 11. What am I talking about? I thought I saw 60 and 3, not 3 and 11. I'm really hoping that that's not my people. Alright, that was at least an enemy. That wasn't mine. That wasn't mine. That was an enemy's. I killed one guy. I killed one guy with that mortar. Good thing, friendly fire is a thing here. Lonely Space Orb. That's the thing. You get a score penalty, and they take reduced damage, but they do take damage. So, friendly fire is 100% a thing. I have blown myself... Oh. Like that. Team damage. Minus 10. I have absolutely blown myself up. There we go. I got the machine gunner. Could this guy stop? I can't see a damned thing. Like, this flamethrower guy is completely pointless. He's the most annoying. Admittedly, the flamethrower doesn't do team damage, which is good, because that would be bad. But he's not exactly pushing forward and accomplishing. That was another mortar. God, these mortars are everything. I've got a guy who's AFK. I've got... Oh. I have a guy who left the game. Oh, I do have Soup on in my unit now. That's something. He's currently dead. Soup is the guy who's been sniping me all day. We've got plenty of ammo, we're not gonna survive. Look, when they are literally AIs, I don't feel bad about it. I pushed too far forward. Played the trenches too well. What an absolute mess. Oh, I forgot that the flames from the flamethrower can kill you. Incredible. Incredible plays. Soup left. Incredible. Forgot that the flamethrower could kill people. Did you know if you kill people they die, and if you light them on fire you do kill them? Because apparently this guy didn't. Finally, we got the attack off. I'm very hopeful now that what this means, is that I'll be able to get sniped from point blank. which doesn't really make it a snipe. But, I suppose matters. I'm hoping now that I can, make commands to push up through this trench instead of, the death trap that is right here. Or not. I guess we spawned on the wrong side of the map, so instead we're gonna push up. Push up that way. It's a defensive push. It's the beginning. Can't see anything with those smokes. I really want to get up and back so I can get a good overlook. And then from there... Those are friendlies. From there, call a distant mortar strike. We're gonna hope that that's a good spot. I don't know that that's a good spot. We're gonna find out. I'm also walking straight into another mortar shot. There we go. I love these bots so much. I mean, I'm accomplishing nothing, right? I'm accomplishing absolutely nothing. What are they talking about? They should watch a movie? The original Russian movie. Oh. We took it! That's incredible. I don't know how we took it, but we took it. Oh. I got distracted by the twitching guy. Accomplishing nothing is the standard for World War I? Truly. This game does such a good job on communicating, the fact that all this just exists. Right? All of these fights just exist. Right? This huge network of trenches, though, is built up quite impressively. Right? This is the most Stop running the other direction. I will shoot you all for desertion. I don't know that I have that authority, but I'll do it anyway. Oh boy, they captured it back. How did I get a squad spawn point immediately after getting rolled? Immediately after just getting completely rolled. Alright, well this is actually super fun, right? I love how they've got this big network, right? They're not really showing, like, undermining or anything, but they're showing just how deeply ingrained, right? If we compare the Artois or the, I don't know, like the Picardy ones to the ones that are supposed to represent early in the war to these ones, it really is showing how sophisticated the defenses have actually gotten. Oh, that guy has a, yep. Has a that. Cool medievalism, thank you, help, the helmets that British and Germans employ were modeled after medieval and early modern helmets. To an extent, right? To some extent it's a bit of a, the idea that the Pickelhaube is based on a Saleh makes a lot of sense. The Kegelhelm, I think partially that's just coincidence of that's a really good shape for a helmet. Which is not denying the medievalism of it. Just observing that there's multiple things that are true. Also, I need to back up, get onto a high position, and then mortar them. Because I've got that up, and I need to call that in. I need to redeem that at some point. Where's the...
Formiert euch! Sie greifen an! Feuer auf
I guess we'll just do that? I don't know. Warning, danger close. Noted. We're gonna run like hell. There's several artillery strikes called down right into our position. This dang flamethrower guy. Well, this helmet does a great job at being a helmet. Specifically, right, it also does a great job at protecting your head and shoulders from airburst. Right, the big wide brim on British helmets is just really good at protecting you from airburst shrapnel. Which is important. And thank you. Are you gonna... Why is the all chat arguing about the extent of Russian censorship? Like, come on. That's what we're doing right now?
Vorwärts!
Ah. Oh good, they actually threw a nade into there. That's fantastic news. Where am I? 3/4 of the way to another mortar. I need to remember to use that, because that's important. And also, we just need to not die for like 35 seconds. Oh, that's a friend. Yes, yes. Scream, scream more. Oh. I walked up behind me. And we win! Yay! Online? Hey, this is a remarkably civil. This was a remarkably civil. Well, never mind. Never mind. We were so close. We were so close to glory. We were doing great. Right up until the expletives used at the very end. Best squad mate was me. Not that I was saying much, but that's fine. These people did nothing. Now, I would love to end off with Duomo. Or Sami Hell. Come on, let's do Sami Hell. With its crucified person. Come on. Aw, boo. I get the sense people may not like San Miguel that much. Just a guess. Just a guess. Just a smidge of a thought. So we're actually gonna leave, right? We're actually gonna leave this one because we've seen this one before. Right? Because this is Mar. So right, when we load in, you'll see this is the Battle of the Mars, so this is the area with a really low one. Those really low trenches with very little cover. Right, you can see, we've been here before, we've seen this, so we're going to quit out of the match, and we are going to instead try and create a custom match in Duomo. But first, we're of course going to take an ad break. Because we do that regularly. So this is going to be the last ad break. You know, actually, never mind. We only have like 20 minutes left. I think we only have one more game. So let's just... Game type, yep. Starting level. Picardy, Flanders. Duama or San Miguel. Let's do Duama because Duama is a place that has shown up in all of our people. Right. This is just, I just want this to be an offline one. Year. We can specify. Really? So we're going to specify that. Wow, we can actually choose all specific options. We're going to specify 1916 just to see what happens. Starting level there, weather, overcast. Next players. Yep. This is going to be a private game. We're gonna... Friendly fire is off, but the penalty is on. Okay. Yeah. Squad defense. Or not. Next players. 3? Nah. We'll do this. Hopefully this will be private. And here we go. Right, this has appeared in every single game we've played. Right, the idea of the fortress at Duama as the central thing of the Battle of Verdun is apparently a really big deal. Right, really big deal. So, we're going to load in, and we're going to take a look. And here we are, capture the enemy sectors. So here's the Duomo, right? Here's this massive fortress. And you can see it, right? We're mostly going to be fighting over the barracks, because of course we are. Of course we are. Ugh, my revolver is not very good, but that's fine. Oh boy, that's yep. Those are hard bots, by the way. Hard bots, by the way. Let's get back in there. Let's try that again. But you can see, right? They basically set up several main paths in. There's a guy up there. Fair enough. We've got that big open pathway into the barracks there. And then we've got... And then we've got... all of this. Just this enormous pathway. And then because these are bots and they literally stand still, we're able to be completely fearless and are mauling them. And then hopefully I can drop a mortar on the backside. I would love to be able to drop a mortar on the backside. I would love to be able to do that. Well, I don't know how well it's going to work, but we're going to try. We are gaining momentum as I am just going 12, currently 12-1. Goal is to go like as close to 101 as I can. Because they certainly can't hit me. By the way, I can't hear. Okay, I would... You know, I'd love if one of them would throw a grenade in... Aww. I would love if one and or all of them would start throwing grenades in there instead of this, because... Yeah. We literally failed to capture the barracks. Which means now we're defending here, the front gates. Which is rough because, don't know if you've noticed, we don't exactly have a huge defensive point here besides that big-ass wall. I'm gonna get this German NCO. He can't... He doesn't know what he's doing. Ow. Aw. The guy up there got me. Tragic. But I like this map a lot, because this map is incredibly dramatic. Like, what could be more dramatic than this? We have this absolutely enormous fortress. Renowned for, of course, its big giant turrets. Right? It's big giant circular turrets. That is this iconic image of the war. Right? In terms of the dramatic landscapes that the war lies on, right? This, the circular turrets over there, the pillboxes over there. Oh boy. Well, glad the squad is playing abysmally. Probably shouldn't have done that. That might go very badly, but that's fine. It might go very well. Have our people run at the same spot that I called a mortar strike. I'm sure we'll be fine. Yep. Yep. 100% fine. Heyo, we recaptured this. I'm walking through all the barbed wire. Also a nice spot where, you know, the idea of how much barbed wire there should be and the amount of barbed wire that there actually is feel much closer to even. Oh boy. I whiffed that shot. I shouldn't have whiffed that shot. He was right in front of me. You know, I'm not gonna pretend that these guys are playing super well. But, come on. With a bit of luck, we'll be able to take this and push up into the main fortress. I'd love to be able to push up past the barracks, though. But I do kind of wonder why it is that this image is so iconically part of, the World War I aesthetic. Oh, there's... Oh. That's bad. Luckily, we're good. We're just better. Oh, that's bad. Luckily, the bots are bad too. Ah, tragic. They're pushing right up over me and I had no support. Absolutely tragic. We are also down one player on them. It's not a huge deal, but it does matter. Let's run in. We should be able to get a good mortar strike as well, though, if we get a good overview position up here. Above all the gas.
Cowards will be shot.
Yeah. Let me put this on, I guess. We'll take out that guy, right? There we go, take out that guy. Here's our overview position. And then we're going to... I don't think I'm actually going to get very many people with that one, because I think we cleared the attack before the mortar strike actually came in. But that's fine. It's fine, you know? It's okay. Aww. And then they're just standing up there. That's... I'll be interested to see if Tannenberg has Premiership as a counterpoint. I would assume it does. I don't know that, but it's a very reasonable guess that it does. And I think that'll be a super interesting comparison. Right, in general, I'm super excited to look at the comparison between this game and Tannenberg. Because I think there's a lot there that is going to be really interesting. Because I think the same idea of control points is going to work for Tannenberg. But there's going to be a big difference when it comes to how we there's going to be some big differences with how the flow of battle should play out, because, you know, this isn't a super trench-heavy position. Suppose I shouldn't stand, like... Suppose I shouldn't stand too far forward. Aww. And there we go. Isanzo's also going to be interesting, right? Isanzo's their newest one. It released last year. And that one's also going to be super interesting because it feels a bit wonky. Right? Bit of a different one. Given how short that front actually is. Right? For the most part, the Isanzo... I'll be curious whether they include like Gallipoli as part of Isanzo. Because, you know, that feels... I mean, that feels right. God, I cannot hit with this gun. I'm having a terrible time hitting with this gun. I assume they're... We'll find out tomorrow, though, because guess what? We'll be back with Tannenberg literally tomorrow. Are we ready for a mortar strike yet? No. Tragic. Oh, he just walked up next to me. I understand. Yeah, it'll be fun, right? It'll be super interesting so close together to compare these two games, because they should play pretty similarly. That's one of the restrictions of franchising, right? The fact that there's multiple games in the same series means that they should play pretty similarly, but the Western Front and the Eastern Front kinda don't. Like, they don't really operate in particularly similar ways. So, I will be extremely curious to see how that works. Oh yeah, also we lost that point again. That which is annoying as hell. Hey, that worked well. Stop it with the barbed wire. You're a jerk. Oh. I don't want to stand here. God, I mean... that was beautiful. Do you see that guy just gracefully swan dive? Truly, war is a wondrous thing. You can watch a man fully AFK. Oh, he's just gonna, yep, slowly walk forward. God, this is... I mean, this is fantastic. Right? Just the emotional state of being both fun and horrific, and, I mean, yes, bots. Bots always affect the experience. Right? The idea of this being this, like, incredibly arbitrary experience, where it's hard to, like, aim, everything takes a long time, and yet the consequences, right, are just enormous. And you have to just track all of this and try and, like, prosecute a battle as best as you can. Oh. Just excellent. Just excellent stuff right there. It feels really... I mean, right, this obviously is not educational, right? Well, does have some similarities with other games we've seen in its use of archival records. Records both in terms of... documents and records in terms of records, right? LPs. I reloaded at the wrong time. This flank is just struggling. Like, the gameplay is not bad by any metric. Not feeling bad about playing this. I'm having a better time than I am with the strategy game. Oh, I will be curious to see how they alter the gameplay with over the, you know, what, 6 years? Eight years between Verdun and Isanzo. Right, I'll be real curious to see how they, I'll be real curious to see how they alter that, and how they kind of tighten up the gameplay, because I'm sure they are not going to play 100% the same. Right? Between rebalancing, on the one hand, and, just the ways in which it simply is going to play out a bit differently. Oh. Oh, that was a guy up on the thing. Okay. It's fine. But they are communicating the like chaos and smoke and energy of the war really, really nicely. And they're also, right, as I look around at these environments, well, these environments are hardly everything. Right, these environments are hardly everything, or hardly a specific moment, right? They're incredibly dense, but they're not really from a specific time period. Right? They are, and they've got little artifacts scattered around them that probably maybe wouldn't actually be left sitting there, like chairs. Like there's a time where they just have a chair, and it's like, well, yep, that's a choice. Ah, the artillery got me. Would you be right that that Desonzo would include Serbian battlefields? I assume. Right, I would expect to see Gallipoli. I would expect to see... I would expect to see, obviously the Isonzo front itself. I expect to see a couple other places. Just need to lock you in place for a bit. Ow. Team damage. Hey, are you gonna use your LMG, or are you just gonna sit there and pretend? Well, I got what I asked for. But yes, I would strongly assume that there are Serbian battlefields in Isonzo. I'd assume that there's probably Macedonian battlefields. Really, you could probably get all the way up to the Carpathians, and just take that whole front from Italy through the Ottomans, through like a bunch of French or a bunch of Balkan territory. Hey, that's an enemy. What are enemies doing up there? Like, what is why are there enemies up there? Why are my people... These are hard bots, by the way. Just for the record. As I'm 85 and 14. I'm not actually outscoring that much for how wild this is. Because I'm not taking positions. I'm just existing. And killing people. Taking positions. But I'm not really... I was so close to getting 2 more people to show up. Boo. Oh well. And look at how hard it is to actually spot... Like, look at how hard it actually is to spot people. I wish I had my mortar up right now. God, it would be so brutal. Oh, again, I can't reload while I am... Oop. I can't reload while I'm doing all that. Oh, he just walked around. I love my people. I really do love my squad. I'm sure they're doing their best. Their best is just not very good, you know? If, like, I know I positioned farther back than I told them to go, but, like, they still aren't really accomplishing a lot. Like, we got a lot of people down right now. A lot of 1, 2, 3, 4, all but 5. Two. Oh, that's going to be juicy. Oh, I'm looking forward to this. I missed? It hit one person. It hit one person. Boo. So yeah, I think this illustrates the point well enough, right? There's only a couple minutes left in this, so it's not... We'll just play it through to the end. It illustrates the point reasonably well. I was saying, though, right, there's some things of, like, you know, random helmets. Like, a random French helmet just left here. You know, we don't have time to clean up everything. Random German helmet. Abandoned mortar positions, right? Abandoned tanks. Things aren't getting salvaged. Oof. That's unlucky. The, defenders weren't given a chance, or the, medical troops weren't given a chance to get into the front line, to get into the lines. Oh. Bye. So, right, lots of signs of, just implied violence, but also some weird stuff, like, we saw, like, chairs, a random football, stuff like that also being preserved at various stages. So communicating a much broader sense, right? Communicating a much broader sense of what the space kind of looks like. Right, a much broader sense of sort of the material culture of the war and some of those aspects. Not a whole lot of, like, little gramophones, postcards, stuff like that. Not a lot of things that give color to the landscape, even in the trenches, in these little hideaways. But that makes some sense, because for the most part, those are probably at backline stuff. People on the front lines aren't staying very long, and so they may not get quite as cozy, leaving instead just, you know, a thing. A coffee mug. A gramophone. Right, overall though, right, this game is an absolute blast to play, and I'll be very, very curious to compare Verdun here, the Western Front, to how they do the Eastern Front tomorrow. So yeah, I hope you will join us then. I hope you'll join us tomorrow for that, and if you did enjoy this, of course make sure you're followed for this and for all other historical gaming content. And if you like this and want to support the channel more, of course make sure you hit that subscribe button to help make all of this possible. To kind of give my concluding thought on this, right, they're working, to connect it to the thing I talked about at the very beginning, right, the keynote from the Middle Ages Modern Games Conference, there's this idea of, like, vague history, right? Instead of being trapped down into a single thing, a single moment, and you are teaching people about that moment and the reality there. This is not doing that. It's working with a vague time period of often 3 or 4 different battles, several years apart, with different technological things, with different companies there, with different types of people, different types of tactics, different levels of build-up defenses. Right? All those things kind of accumulate over the years, and this game has that challenge of working within a vague encapsulation of all 4 and a bit years of the war to try and give you some sense of what the Western Front is like. I think it succeeds admirably, right? They emphasize a little bit more the mobility and the back and forth of it, rather than the big pushes at the end where they cover like 100 miles. So we're still seeing this is a war of yards, not of miles, for the most part. But we're seeing a lot of really cool stuff where they're doing a really good job on environmental design. They're doing a really good job on sort of unit design, communicating the importance of NCOs, and making something that is both futile and satisfying. What a wildly difficult tightrope to walk, and yet this succeeds way better than I think the strategy game does, because, as it turns out, right, that emotional, in-the-moment, cinematic, affective experience of being in the trenches and doing this fight, this highly lethal moment of gameplay, ends up actually having a lot of satisfaction and a lot of well-designed mechanics around it. That's super cool, I'm a big fan of it. So, I'll be really curious to see how this evolves over the next few games. So yeah, until tomorrow, I hope you all have a good rest of your day, and yeah, that's all I've got, so have a good night.